overall, a very good effort. The second quarter was not a good quarter for us, but the third was tremendous, and then the fourth we were able to do what we had to do to get through it. So proud of the guys, great crowd. Crowd finally got going in the third quarter when we played at a level to get them going, which was great to see, and that was probably the key to the game.
Scored 47 in the third, and Tyrese just talked about him personally adjusting in the second half. What did you see as the keys to kind of turning your fortunes from the first half to the second half and getting going?
Well, the first couple possessions of the third quarter were big. Aaron got the steal. We scored, and then Aaron got the steal. I think we scored, got a stop. Aaron got the steal. And then, then the building came alive, and from there we lifted our level of intensity, and it made a huge difference in the game.
It's 7 guys between 10 and 16 points today. I mean, was it something about the way they were defending you that allowed the ball to move so well? Why do you think it was such a good spread out effort from your team?
Oh, we've had 8 guys averaging double figures all year, so that's really how we're built. We have great people that are really starting to understand the sacrifices, the personal sacrifices that need to be made to have a successful team. For instance, tonight, Buddy only played 13 minutes, but he was real efficient. He was +1 when he's on the floor, and he was pulling for his teammates the whole time. So, there are certain things about NBA season that are very challenging when it comes to minutes and roles and all those kinds of things. But the quality of people in our locker room makes a big difference for us.
The Bucks obviously won a championship very recently and are a great team, but they really were tough for this franchise for the last 4 or 5 years, and then this year to go 4-1 against them. I mean, does that say something about the growth of this team to you? What do you feel like you guys did so much better against them than in years past?
Well, between my first year here and my second year here, the team improved, added more pieces, got a clear direction. Between year 2 and this year, we've improved some more with experience and adding Bruce and adding Obi. And so we're just really working at raising our level. You can't skip steps. So much of being a successful team are the sacrifices that I just talked about. And we've just all got to be aware, and we've all got to be empathetic to how difficult some of those things can be. But with the ultimate goal of being a playoff team, they're essential to our success.
Obviously, this particular experience is unique at this point. Obviously, you played these guys 5 times. It's not a thing that happened before.
Feels like we should play them again on Friday.
Right. I mean, is there? I guess kind of to that point. I mean, it certainly doesn't exactly mimic, a playoff, but there's some similarities to all that. I mean, what do you feel like you've learned about these guys or you feel like you guys have learned about yourselves that's applicable and important going forward? I guess just having had kind of the punch and counterpunch of this series in a relatively packed period.
Yeah, there's never, in the history of this league, never been a series like this one because there was no in-season tournament thrown in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. in a neutral venue with stage lighting. It just is so different out there. But Milwaukee's a great team. We had some good fortune in the games. They're hard games. They're all hard games. And we're just looking to get better. We're just looking to get better, and we're trying to stay in the present, in the moment, and really support each other. So that's where it's at.
No, you guys did some of this on Monday, but it seemed like the 3-man wall kind of technique you guys had against Giannis was really effective. He only takes 13 shots. I mean, how did you I don't think the word has come up with it. I imagine that someone else has done it before. But what did you like about that strategy, and how do you feel like you guys were just good at implementing it?
You just got to make it as hard as possible on great players. I mean, the first 3 games, the guy averaged 51.6 points. And so, we'd set ourselves up for most improved at that point, really defensively on him. And look, there's no other way. You can't allow him to play one-on-one, and you can't give him space. He's one of the greatest players in the history of the game.
Also, Dame has kind of struggled against you guys. I think 6 of 8.
He didn't struggle tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He played well tonight. Mm-hmm. So look, he's another big problem, and he's a great player. Middleton's a great player. I mean, Middleton got going too, and luckily he's on. Looks like a bit of a minutes restriction. Otherwise, who knows how many points he would score. And he scores in crowds, on double teams, on fadeaways, on wrong-footed shots. I mean, the guy's a walking basket, walking and one and a walking 3 in your face. He's ridiculous. So, we did a lot of things collectively to win the game tonight, and that's just who we are.
Just want to go back to one thing you mentioned just about all the guys having to change roles and move around and everything. I guess we talk a lot about the depth in the bench, but is there also something impressive about the fact that there's not been necessarily a unit? You frequently talk about a second unit, but there's been so much kind of moving in and out that guys have had to adjust to playing with different groups. With different groups of guys. How impressive is that, and what's made these guys good at it?
Well, it's like I said, it's the quality of the people in the locker room is exceptional. And, with Drew getting healthier by the day, when he becomes healthy, we're going to have some real tough decisions. And the players know this is coming. As a staff, we just are going to need to communicate as well as we possibly can. And I talked to the guys today at our prep, at 3:50 this afternoon out on the floor before we started, and just explained that, there's going to be some lineup fluidity. There just is. And as much as I'd like to settle in to something comfortable for everyone, being comfortable is not good for us right now. We got to stay edgy about everything. We got to stay edgy with Atlanta coming in here. So it's there are many challenges, but being able to meet those challenges is what's fulfilling in this business. From the coaching side, but even the player side. When guys that haven't tasted the playoffs before realize the kinds of things that it takes. It's they're special sacrifices, and so we got to keep talking about it truthfully and keep everybody as ready as possible.
I know you had a lot of praise for Obi on Saturday. He had another strong night tonight. Just the way he's responded to coming off the bench. Does that speak to just kind of what you're talking about, the sacrifices, the way this team has embraced that this year?
It's hard to put into words how impressed I am with Obi Toppin as a man, as a young man. He just is all about the team. He loves to play the game. He loves to share the ball. He loves being a part of something bigger than him. When he came here, there were certain things assumed, looked like he was probably going to be the starter. He was for a while, and then we shifted course a little bit. But, he's raised his level since becoming a bench player, and is probably playing equal, if not more, minutes off the bench. So that kind of character and commitment to the group is what it's going to take. And we obviously need high-level play from him. He's a very special player. Offensively, for a guy 6'10", 6'11", guys like him that run, can handle, that pass, that see things, that can shoot, that can finish above the rim, tip the ball, crash. I mean, he's very, very special, and our guy, he's very beloved in the locker room.
It's good. We just stuck to our game plan. We did what we were supposed to do. We got physical. We could have played a better defense, and I could have chilled on the turnovers, but we executed what we wanted to do. So it was cool. I had 4 of them things bad. First game back.
Yep.
Tyrese, what were you seeing in the second half, if anything changed, or did you adjust to something that, most of your points were there, a lot of your assists were there, that let you get going?
I think it's close. Back that up. Just starting to make some shots. I feel like I could get a lot of threes that I like against these guys because they switch up their defense and stuff, and they just started falling in the second half. We didn't shoot it. We haven't shot it well against these guys really any game that we've played them this year. We shot 40% today, but still feel like out of my 6 misses, I feel like a lot of them were good looks. So finally making some shots against them. But I think guys did a good job of getting stops, playing in transition more, and that benefited us. And just being ready for what's in front of us.
Bruce, just since you're new to Indiana, this one has to be for Tyrese. But for years, this franchise could not take down the Bucks. They won 10 in a row against the Pacers from 2018 to 2022. What does that say about the growth of this team that you guys have had so much success against them this season?
I think we're just, I think getting up for these games. I think as a young group, when you play good teams, you want to be as prepared for them as you can. But I think part of the maturation of this group is being able to, continue that competitiveness and being up for games that aren't against the Bucks. When you're playing teams that, you're favored in or expected to win, you got to show up at the same time. So I think for us as a group, we just got to continue to treat every game the same way and be ready to go.
Bruce, I think Rick said that your knee was bugging you a little bit before your actual absence started. When did you start feeling things there, and was this absence just about getting it right?
It was 3 weeks before I sat out. So before the in-season tournament, I was having problems, but I was just playing through it. Then it got to a point where I kind of couldn't bend my knee without pain. So we got it looked at, and I just needed rest. This offseason, I got right to it. I took like 2 weeks off and got right to it to 2-a-days. So it wasn't the smartest idea on my end, but I'm fine now.
Third quarter, obviously, when you guys put this thing away, 47 points, I think 1.65 per possession. Just what all came together there? What would you just feel like clicked offensively?
I would just say we did a good job of digging down, getting stops when needed. Did a good job showing our hands, not fouling. This is a team that, Dame and Giannis shoot a lot of free throws on a nightly basis. They're, tough covers. So, still got 13 and 10, and it felt like we did a good job tonight, So, just keep showing our hands, making them finish over us, gang rebounding. I thought we did a great job on the glass, and that allows us to run. And like we've talked about, when we play in transition, we're a really tough team to beat, and I thought we did that tonight probably better than we have against these guys probably all year.
You mentioned, getting out running. Obviously, you guys were able to get a bunch of steals sort of above the three-point line and turn those into kind of easy breaks when there's not anyone else out there. What's working for you guys out there as far as, I guess, maybe, hedging on ball screens, having active hands? What do you think do you think you guys have done better to lead to getting more of those?
I think just switching some things up. I thought our bigs did a really good job of pushing their catches out. And Isaiah had a couple big steals of, jumping out, and we're giving our bigs some more freedom to, kind of come up with the calls in the flow of the game, and everybody's got to listen and be attentive. So I think our bigs did a really good job, and a lot of their actions are high ball screens or handoffs above the free throw line and usually in the middle of the floor. So I thought we did a really good job of showing our hands and, getting our hands on basketballs and getting out and running.
Giannis only takes 13 shots. Obviously, you guys were working in some of that kind of three-man wall stuff going on at the free throw line. How effective do you think that was? What I guess led to you guys kind of bringing that in, and what do you think it did overall to kind of slow
Yeah,
them down?
I think it was really effective. Before the last game in Milwaukee, he was averaging crazy numbers against us. So we're just trying to get the ball out of his hands and have other people make plays, and it worked.
You talked about winning 4 out of 5 against these guys. What do you think the overall value has been as packing these games in early, where you've had a lot of kind of, game and then adjustment sort of situations. I mean, it obviously doesn't mimic a playoff series because it's certainly more spread out than that is. But what do you think the value has been for you guys of getting a bunch of these games against these guys early and doing a lot of kind of punching and counter-punching here?
I think it's been good. It's been interesting. I've never played a team this many times this early. I mean, was this the 5th time we've played them?
I don't think you ever play. You don't think you can play that team
Yeah,
5
right.
times.
So it's
only the tournament.
It's been interesting to see a team this many times, and I think we've handled it the right way. Obviously, there was, the game in Milwaukee that got a little chippy, and I thought we responded the right way. A lot of things said from both sides, and we came out and were prepared for that, and we've handled it the right way. But I think the good part about playing, we played the Bucks 5 times already. We got the Celtics 3 more times. Those are 2 of the best teams in our conference. So just seeing where we stack up against those guys early has been interesting, and just want to keep approaching these games the right way. And our crowd has been awesome. They've been amazing. It's been cool to play, these really good teams this early in the year because our fans are coming out, and we're just, trying to, make Pacers basketball fun and interesting for the fans to be here.
How much just over these last 5 games do you feel like you guys have kind of reasserted yourselves? I mean, obviously, when you go from what you did, getting into the tournament, you have that slump afterwards. I mean, just to what degree do you feel like you guys have just got right over the last week and a half?
I think we've just learned and responded the right way. I think that, I'm not using this as an excuse or anything, but when you're playing, I've never played in such competitive basketball. Maybe this guy played in the finals last year, but to have that bump in the middle of the year is such a high where you're playing in front of so many fans, and then, you go and you're on the road, and it just felt like we're on the road forever, and guys were not an excuse at all, but guys were tired, you know what I mean? So it's been good to have these homestands, had Christmas, be around your family more, just to get our legs back under us and get back going. And it's pretty cool that as soon as we, hit the 500 mark, we figured out, okay, this is how we want to respond, because nobody wants to be 500 or close, so we just want to keep widening that gap from being 500 and keep pulling away. But as long as we just come in here, keep doing things the right way, defending the right way, I don't think we have any complaints.
Right now, it seems like the whole team is rolling on offense. No matter who's in the game, they're contributing. What kind of confidence does that give you, just to trust no matter who's on the court at all times for you guys?
I think that's the best part about our team. We keep harping on the depth. We have, talked about that really since, preseason or training camp. And I think that guys just keep coming in, playing confident, and understanding it can be anybody's night at any time. TJ had a couple DNPs, and he's really affected these games since he's, been in the lineup. And, stuff happens, guys' backs, so me and Andrew both, things happen. But I think that's the great part about having such a young group is guys have to be prepared. Same with Isaiah. When Jalen was playing backup 5, Isaiah was getting DNPs as well, and he's come back, and he's been really good for us in his minutes. So we just got a lot of guys who need to be prepared at any time for what's in front of them, and just keep responding the right way, because we got a really deep team that can affect games in any way. But, of course, our confidence is high when we're winning. You know what I mean? When we're winning, of course, confidence is high, but we got to be able to maintain that when things get tough. And we got a really tough month coming up, so got to be able to respond the right way.
I don't think weren't playing with enough attitude. I think we kind of came into halftime and kind of expressed that in the sense, it was we weren't playing our style of play. I think we were getting enough stops, couldn't get out and run. But then once we saw a couple shots go down, kind of sparked us up and whatnot, we were able to get going.
The exclamation point on tonight might have been the behind-the-back pass from Tyrese, the 3. Can you take us through that moment and what it was like to kind of finish the game off, if you will?
Yeah, Tyrese is being Tyrese, man. I just found my spots and, just trust him with the ball in the best possible positions. And it was a perfect spot. He added some flair to it, as he does, and we were able to walk off the win.
This is a championship caliber opponent, an area where you guys are striving to get to beat them 4 times this year. What does that say to you?
It's difficult to beat a team 4 times, let alone 1 or 2. I think that it speaks a lot to the coaching staff. They made adjustments over the course of the past couple of games, and they did a great job of just getting us prepared for our game plan. And obviously, us as players went out and executing. But I think it was a whole collaborative, organizational effort, in getting that done.
On paper, January might be the toughest schedule since you've been here. You're off to a good start. You're 2-0 in the new year. What's at a high level right now, and what needs to stay at a high level?
Oh, well, obviously, we made some big strides defensively. I think that, we started the season off bottom of the league. I think we might be, at least over the past couple of weeks, might be middle of the league as far as our percentages and our, the rankings and whatnot go. But just continuing to play that side of the floor.
Pretty much everybody was just locked in. We bought into the scouting reports.
We had great shoot-arounds, leading up to the game, and everybody was focused. Everybody was making sure that they was executing what the coaches had for us. And, it took a whole village to stop the team, you know what I'm saying? So, at the end of the day, we all played the way we should have, and we just did what we were supposed to do.
You were on a team that played the Bucks in the finals, but this Pacers team really struggled with Milwaukee for years until this season. What do you feel like it says about the growth of this team or the path you guys are on that you finally have found success against a really good franchise?
It shows a lot of maturity. Obviously, as a group of young guys, everybody thinks, obviously, with our past historics, we were not really the best defensive team. But, everybody's just taking strides, you got a lot of great vets like TJ and Myles leading the way for us and making sure that everybody's locked in and executing at a high ability.
I think you guys had 9 guys with 9 points or more, something along those lines. Just what do you think works just from a balance standpoint? This is obviously part of who you guys are in general, but what clicked in just the amount of ball movement, and the amount of balance tonight?
I think it just speaks to unselfishness of the team that we have. Obviously with a lot of young guys, you think everybody's going to gun for theirs, everybody's going to try to get up as many shots as they can just to make their make their standpoint. But at the end of the day, you got great ball facilitators on our team and our guards, and they find everybody. And obviously you get the ball up, you got to know playing with this team, you're going to get it back at some point.
Obviously nobody's played 5 regular seasons against one team before. The reason is because of the tournament and whatnot. What do you make of just, and obviously certainly doing a really packed scenario? How do you think you guys handled that, and the fact that you beat them 4 out of 5? And what do you feel like you can take from the experience of having this much experience against one team this early in the season?
I think it means a lot. To beat a team, an NBA team, more than twice is a tough task. Especially during the regular season. But some way we gutted it out. The in-season tournament added a couple games to it. But at the end of the day, it was just all about the want to win and the hunger that we all had to compete.
You guys had that defensive focused practice right before the Hornets game, and then changed your lineup 5 days later. And now you're on a 5-game winning streak. What all do you feel like those things or more has gone into your recent success since dropping to 500?
Like I said, it's just the buy-in from everybody. Obviously, being one of the worst defensive teams is not good, especially as young guys. We're young, we're energetic. We want to be one of the top defensive teams and top offensive teams. And for that, obviously, like I said, it just took that buy-in and took that stand and that pride to take your one-on-one matchup.
What has the adjustment been like for you? I imagine you've been asked this already, but to go back to 4, go back to one, the spacing offensively, but also the defensive matchups and kind of the difference that the different kind of guys you're guarding as opposed to the 5. What's it been like to get back used to that? What's required from you? What do you think you've done well?
Pretty much, obviously with the expectations of being able to switch 1 through 5 as the 4. And I was playing at the whole training camp. I was playing at the 4. I didn't really touch 5 at all during training camp. But, at the end of the day, it's just all about instincts, being able to take, like I said, take that one-on-one matchup and making sure that you're locked in defensively. And obviously with the spacing on the other end, that just opens up a lot more because obviously I'm shooting a little bit better than last year. So, it just opens up for a lot more opportunity for our team.
So you played a lot of 4 in camp?
Oh, yeah, I was pretty much 4 the whole training camp.
Really? I was going to say, you were heading toward just sort of focusing on 5.
Yeah, pretty much in training camp, the lineups was me and Isaiah.
Okay.
And sometimes I switched with Myles, and sometimes I switched with DT. So it was. I didn't really play much 5. I played some, but it wasn't really much.
So you were keeping it there, even though you had a sense that you were probably going to play a lot of backup 5.
I didn't know what I was going to play. At the point, it was just like I said, it's just all about being ready. Obviously I was playing 5 the whole season. Now I know where I'm starting at the 4. So you just got to be prepared, and that's what comes with being a professional. Making sure that you're ready for anything at any time.
Yeah, of course. I think these are games I sort of live for. Just taking it all in, man. It's dope playing in front of a large crowd like this. It gives me energy and also gives the crowd energy and stuff too. So.
Being 4-1 against that team, you guys are 40% of their losses this year.
Yeah.
What does that say about the growth you guys are on and have been on this season?
I think it shows a lot, especially on the defensive end. I think that's something that we sort of locked in on. You can tell with the lineup changes and stuff, and that sort of helped just on the defensive end because we know we can score. But just locking on the defense, and I think we did that every time we played this team. We sort of locked in on defense, and that sort of helped us win the game.
5 times in 55 days against one opponent. Did that? How much did that add to it? Like, were you more looking forward to these? Did it feel more playoff-y? Like, what was it all like?
Yeah, it was. I was sort of like the games I sort of mark on my calendar, just sort of being locked in for. We know the guys don't come in trying to push us around and be chippy and stuff. But I think us coming in with that same mindset, I think it showed a lot about our team and what we could bring to the table as far as toughness and stuff. So.
I guess to stick on that point, I mean, how much do you think you learned about yourself since the last, since the one in Milwaukee that got a little rough, particularly rough at the end,
Yeah.
particularly weird at the end. The fact that you guys came back and won these two and weren't kind of intimidated at all by that. What do you feel like you guys kind of proved and learned about yourselves in these last two games?
I think, that we can play defense. I think that's the main thing. That's what everybody been saying about us, and I think these last couple of games sort of showed that we can lock in, play defense, because that's what everybody was saying we couldn't do. We just score offense and a bunch of stuff like that. But I think that showed a lot, just our toughness on defense.
What you guys obviously ran some of that three-man wall stuff. To be honest, I mean, first off, what did you think about it when the coach suggested it, and how do you think it worked? What do you think it did to kind of at least slow him down? He started up with like 20 and 11.
I think that first game, it sort of showed like if we do that, it's gonna mess him up. Because you could tell it sort of messed him up. Like he thought he was just gonna come down and just, but that wall really helped, and it sort of helped us on defense. It forced other guys to be involved and stuff and make tough shots. And we did the same thing tonight. We know him, Dame Lillard, Middleton, like they're elite scorers. So they're gonna come out and get their points. But if we sort of keep them under a certain amount of points, then we win. So I think that's what we did.
You only took 13 shots.
That's what I'm saying.
Is that kind of what you were going for?
Yeah, for sure. Him getting to the rim, getting and-ones, that's big for them. But I think we stopped that tonight. And, here we are on our own.
The lob with Buddy. Did he look at you? Did he say something? Where'd that come from?
I said something to him. I said, guys were on the bench telling me that I was like in his ear saying it, but like I told him I was just throw it off the glass. He threw it and I went to go get it. So next time it happens, I'm probably gonna bring something better out. It was just in a moment, just a little quick tip in, but next time come probably windmill or some
How early
some
did you
better.
recognize it?
Huh?
Like at half court, did you see it?
Yeah, I seen it because once I seen me and him was like wide open, I'm just like throw it off the glass, buddy, throw it off the glass. And he was about to go dunk it. He like sort of loaded it up. I'm like, okay, he about to throw it, man. But just went to go get it.